Waves and radiation. Look how well lighted everything is. The place is sealed off, self-contained. It is timeless. Another reason why I think of Tibet. Dying is an art in Tibet. A priest walks in, sits down, tells the weeping relatives to get out, and has the room sealed. Doors, windows sealed. He has serious business to see to. Chants, numerology, horoscopes, recitations. Here we don't die, we shop. But the difference is less marked than you think. Book I just finished reading, White Noise by DeLillo. This book was published in 1985, won the National Book Award, and of the more famous and more preeminent books that Don DeLillo has written. The book concerns a protagonist named Jack Gladney, who is the head and founding professor at the College on the Hill, that's the only name it's given, of Hitler studies. By the way, not the first time that fascination with Hitler has shown up in Don DeLillo books. If you're interested in more, go read Running Dog. But this book, Jack is married to his fourth wife, and in their house they have 4 children living with them who are from past marriages. And the start of the conflict starts off with this thing called the airborne toxic event, and it's about 120 pages in. The whole theme of the book has to do with fear of death, as you might imagine that an airborne toxic event could concern. And but not only fear of death, but also sort of an obsession with mass consumerism, and sort of how soothing consumerism gets to be, how comfortable. There are a lot of scenes inside the grocery store alone, which is interesting. The book that I read at the top of this video, I felt like kind of contained both that death and consumerism within the brief 3 or 4 sentences that it was. And so, what's this book about? Well, like I said, fear of dying, and it's propelled by first this airborne toxic event, and we're never given. I can't remember. Well, we're never given quite specific amounts of information about what exactly caused this and what exactly it is, but we are told that, and I can't remember the name given to the chemical that's said to have been released, but there is a chemical released, and that if you catch it, it's got a half-life of roughly 30 years and in your body before you'll die from it, basically. And the other thing that it concerns is this this medication that, and this is a mild spoiler, but it's not a huge spoiler. A medication called Dilar, which is supposed to, it's supposed to get rid of your fear of death. I wish there was a better way I could have said that. I can't talk today. But yeah, it's about the fear of death channeled through kind of those major 2 plot devices. Those don't actually start happening until around page 110, 120, somewhere around there. For the first 100 or so pages, a lot of it is, and this is a slippery term, but it's kind of about postmodern life. For example, we're more or less introduced to a bunch of the characters. There's the protagonist, Jack Gladney. I've already spoken plenty about him. But Babette, or Baba as Jack calls her, she teaches posture and sitting to old folks, and then she also reads to this blind man from tabloids. Again, obsession with kind of pop culture, mass consumerism type things. The kids are just weird out of their minds. The oldest is named Heinrich, that's Jack's kid, and Heinrich is kind of obsessed with contradicting his dad at every point. And his dad never says, okay, you win. His dad's always confrontational back at him, and it's over very trivial stuff. It's nothing too heavy. And then there's, I believe Denise is the one who has a physician's desk reference. She's about 11, and she's like obsessed with all these mental diseases, and that plays into the whole Dilar pill thing. There's Steffi, who is the 7-year-old, and she's got this like weird um, she's got this weird attachment to movies where when an embarrassing scene or cringeworthy scene is playing on TV, that's where you see the most emotion from her. And her most powerful emotions are evoked in sort of these cringe-worthy, embarrassing moments of TV and televisual images. And then the youngest is a kid named Wilder who doesn't talk throughout the whole book. I don't believe he's directly quoted, but it might mention that he says he wanted this or something. And that kid's more or less sort of the source of. He's the only kind of non-consumerism, medical technology type of soothing that both parents have. And what and without giving too much spoilers, the book sort of progresses down this just, how do these people, both of whom, I'm speaking specifically of Jack and Baba, they, how do they deal with their sort of obsession, like really paranoid obsession and fear of death? And I don't think here's what's interesting is I think it's a very American book in that because of this sort of sense of mass consumerism, we sort of forget. I had a friend who once said that we're very good at forgetting we're going to die, and I think this book is very much concerned with that, in that these people have kind of been awakened from that, and they let the anxiety and paranoia of death paralyze them rather than saying, okay, I've got this, very short brief of time in between the maternity ward and the crematorium, and I'm going to use it very valuably. So I think it's a diagnosis and sort of a very introspective look into how that very Americanness surrounding death, like the opening quote said, it's contrasted with Tibet and the Buddhists there. But it's a really fascinating book. I would recommend this to nearly anyone, and if you're going to read any postmodern literature, I think this is a big backbone of it. So I would absolutely recommend this. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. If you want to add me on Goodreads, by the way, link down below. If you've read this book, let me know. Comment down below. All that good stuff. And I think those are my thoughts, and those are my review, more or less, on the book. I know these are always weird and kind of rambly, and this one was especially so, I feel like. Also, new background, or old new background, whatever. So I'm getting back into doing these reviews standing up because I don't have a proper chair to sit in. But thank you for watching, as always. Until next time.